right now. In 3 weeks, I sold out almost a whole container of paint.
Wow.
We also make what we call a solvent-free paint. And the reason why we call it that is because we want people to understand, and it's not quite hitting yet, that our paints are not only zero VOC, but they are also solvent-free. So they're clean. So the solvent-free line is what I call my healthy version of regular paint.
Wow. And that's for regular walls, that's for indoors.
For someone who just wants to paint matte finish paint or a satin-based paint for a kitchen or bathroom, they can look at that line of paint. It's called solvent-free.
Wonderful. You also have finishes, too, don't you?
Correct. We have stains for doors and wood. We have floor finishes, oil-based or water-based. Our products, we have an enamel for an interior-exterior use for doors and trim woodwork that is phenomenal. It dries within an hour and 2 coats, and it's a beautiful satin sheen, and it's gorgeous. Beautiful product, zero VOC and solvent-free. Our stain dries in a half an hour.
Rudolf, when you were bringing all these products into being, you must have worked with an incredible team to do this. How did you know what to do? Did you have a mentor? Did anybody teach you? Did you have to go to a scientist to help you make sure that these were done properly?
We had a good for the latest development. Let's say what we did in the last 10 years. We had a chemist on board who used to be a chemist with a German company called Penaten, which produces like baby shampoos and baby creams and stuff like that. They were later taken over by Johnson & Johnson.
No doubt.
This guy was a retired chemist, and he really knows his stuff, as they say. And we said, well, we want to do this and this and this, which will not have this and this effect. So he got himself into researching different binders and things like that, and that's how we developed those products. Relatively on a shoestring, I would say.
Many great things are. Many great organizations and causes and many great efforts have been started on nothing, really.
Yeah, we had him on retainer for a few years, and we still can get his expertise if ever we need it. But at the moment, we're focusing more on really marketing our potential and trying to get the product out.
You were influenced by Rudolf Steiner, is that correct?
To some degree, I still am.
All day long.
He's awesome. We're doing a piece on Rudolf Steiner in a few weeks.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I'd love for you to talk about how the work of Rudolf Steiner inspired you with regard to creating the paint.
Well, the cradle of the natural paint industry goes back to Rudolf Steiner, and it was a group of Waldorfians or Steinerians, however you want to call them, in Dornach, near Basel, where is the center of the anthroposophists. They call them anthroposophists in Germany.
Yes.
So, and there was a group of people that said, well, we want to make watercolors from plant materials. And they moved to some part in northern Germany. They bought a farmhouse and did biodynamic farming, and then they also developed these watercolors. And with the watercolors, then there came the need for furniture finishes and waxes, and that developed then into paints and other finishes. And that was a movement that started in the early 80s in Germany. So very quickly, there were probably a couple dozen small paint companies in Germany, and now it's natural paint companies, which over the last 25 to 30 years reduced itself down to maybe 5 or 6 major ones.
So the Steiner Group was in Basel, Switzerland?
They were in near Basel,
Yeah.
a place called Dornach.
Okay.
But then they moved to Germany. They were Germans, but I don't know all the details, but they were in Dornach to train probably for teachers and all the different aspects of the Rudolf Steiner way. And they wanted to direct their research initially to making plant-based watercolors. They also made dyes for dyeing wool and silk and other protein-based fabrics, not so much cotton, which is a wood fiber.
I wish they had an influence on the International Bank of Settlements in Basel, Switzerland. That would be great. We wouldn't be in so much trouble all over the world had Rudolf Steiner's group been able to influence the International Bank of Settlements, you know? But it is what it is. You know about the International Bank of Settlements?
Not too much.
It's the central clearinghouse of the planet Earth for anything money.
Really?
Yeah.
That's in Basel.
Basel, Switzerland.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Answerable to nobody.
Everything clears except for a little bit that gets stuck.
Well, that you mean in the Federal Reserve System? That's a whole other thing. What is the challenge now getting the message to the industries, not only the consumers as they wake up one by one, but the contractors?
I'd like to talk about that.
Yeah, please do.
Because I deal with all of those people. I feel that architects, as far as I can tell from training them and talking with them daily, and I am starting a training program, which I talked about last night with one of the architects I met with, actually training sectors of accredited architects, 20 to 30 at a time, on our product line, so they get an understanding. Architects are far more open than contractors, I find. They want to understand, and they want to know. Builders and contractors, I find, are a little tougher to teach. I think they want to do it faster, cheaper, and get on to the next project. I think they feel the pressure of having to finish a project quickly and doing it for the least amount of money so their profit is higher. So that's what I find. But there are some builders who are sincerely interested in green, but it is a difficult road to train them to understand.
Once there's an economy of scale with your line of products, I really think that there will be cost effectiveness once it gets to a certain point, but that the public really needs to get on board and to share in this if they're serious about, quote, greening their homes and their apartments and their buildings. Have you ever been approached to do a line of outside paint for houses and buildings?
Yes, we've been asked. We do have some exterior paint in Germany, but not here.
Do you think that you will do it,
Rudolf?
Well, it's a complicated
It's a finance thing, isn't it? There's going to be a R&D for this, correct?
Well, you can't use every one product for every outside application. Like they supposedly use latex paint on outside, and it doesn't hold. You have, for instance, masonry surfaces where a silicate paint is probably the best to use. But if a latex paint has been applied to that surface, it needs to be taken off, and you need to go back down to the masonry structure. Then there's wood surfaces. You need a completely different product for wood surfaces. And then there's specialty surfaces, and for every specialty surfaces, you might have to make a specialty product. Like there are doors which are made from exterior doors, which are made from like some kind of composite plastic material. Neither a paint that will work on wood nor a paint that will work on a masonry surface will work on that. So there's a lot of different choices to make, and that's a little bit out of our league.
At the time.
Tackle something.
At the moment.
at this moment.
Gotcha. I think you're going to tackle it, though. I have